Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, we're going to have a lot of fun. Vincent LaRusso and I are talking everything Kiss, our favorites and our least favorites. Now we go through first songs on the album, last song on the album, first song starts side 2, costumes, the logo on the stage, album covers, inserts, you name it. It's really covering everything Kiss. You know, I love the Kiss catalog, and it's really hard to choose a favorite and a least favorite. But of course, we want to just try to go through it and see what our thoughts were. Obviously, everybody's opinions can be different, will be different, and we look forward to hearing everything you guys have to say. But I have to say, this was a lot of fun. So why don't we jump in and let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. Today I'm excited to have back with me my buddy, my partner in crime, who's already laughing and having a good time. I don't even know what it was.
I gotta say, I'm very excited about this episode. I think I might have planted the seed similar to when you put together here. I think like last year or 2 years ago, we were trying to come up with concepts of like different episodes and trying to make it interesting. But I was very happy when you decided to throw this out here.
Yeah, I think this might have been one of our first thoughts. I never have introduced you, so just in case people don't know, that's Vincent LaRusso. But yeah, I think this is.
I think they know by now.
Unfortunately for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, so I think you're
or
right.
For others, maybe.
That good parent. Yeah, I think this is one of our first ideas when we were putting some topics down on a piece of paper. And we were like, oh, what kind of Kiss topics could we talk about? And really what we're talking about right now is we said we want to do our list of, I'll say, best of and worst of, and we'll go through a list, best opening of an album, closing of an album, all different things that we'll go through. As we always say, we don't talk about this beforehand. So I'm really curious as to what you're going to have on your list, whether it's, best 1-2 song on an album, best album cover, inserts, whatever it is that we discuss. I'm really curious to see where you go with this. I have a feeling I might know some of them, but I'll be curious.
Well, let me just put out there too that at least my point of view when I do these lists, it's just my opinion.
Oh, you didn't ask my opinion first?
No. What I'm trying to say is like I never claim to be a know-it-all in anything, and this is just opinion. And I'm sure people are gonna. Maybe whether it's a worst or best, how could you pick that? Whatever. This is just based on my taste.
Right.
Everyone's has different tastes, and I respect anybody's taste. I just want to put that out there in the universe before we get all the flaming comments. You know what I mean? Literally they're on fire. So
isn't that a different band?
It is, but it's like that's like the Easter egg I just put in there.
There you go. I like that little Easter egg. And I think you were telling me the only thing that you said to me that on your list when we talk about worst ofs, so we said we did not want to include in our best of worst of.
Yeah, you should put the. Should put the
disclaimer, right?
Right?
So we don't want to do compilation albums. So best of albums won't be included. We're not going to do live albums, and we wanted to exclude the solo albums, right? So that this way, when we're talking about like what's the best first song on an album, it's just the pure Kiss albums, the studio albums. Mm-hmm. And then you said you wanted to add for yourself one more little thing that you want to add into that, right?
Oh yeah, as far as like the whole monster and
yeah.
So just I would just say because I never really attached myself to those albums, so I guess it'd be easy to say. Monster's my least favorite, because it's just not an album I really. So I didn't exclude that in my list.
No, you did exclude that.
I mean,
I didn't exclude it, so my
I,
entire
I just made this statement and just went totally against what I said.
I like that. The double
Yeah,
negative.
thank you. I'm glad somebody's paying attention.
I try.
Yeah, yeah. So what was I supposed to say? This way I don't mess it up again?
I think you're supposed to say that you decided to exclude Sonic Boom and Monster from your list.
Yeah, more so Monster, because I did look over Sonic Boom.
Okay.
Okay. But
Okay. Which
okay.
hurts me, which pains me when you say that. And we
I know,
did a whole episode on Monster, and you told me last year in October when we did that, you know what, I'm going to go back and listen to that. And I have to ask you, how many times have you listened to it since then? I think the answer is probably 0, right?
I think it might be 1. It probably is 1.
Lying.
I think
you're lying. You're lying. It's 0.
Do you have evidence of that?
It's 0. I know it's 0. That's my evidence.
I listened to it after I watched The Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm going to ruin that show for you any day now. That's it.
I know.
I'm going to ruin it. I'm just going to send you a screenshot of something I've been wanting to talk to you about for 2 years, and that's going to be then you lose.
What is like Don Knotts a Wookiee or
or
droid?
They take off R2-D2's head and Don Knotts is inside. Oh man.
A little pretzel debris went down the wrong pipe.
That's good. That's good. Well, that's the punishment. I install little punishments to you for not watching The Mandalorian.
I know.
And
notice I brought it up.
You did.
I brought it up, so I try to beat you to it.
Thank you. And your dislike for Monster still pains me.
Yeah. So is this the point in time where people say, all right, get to it already?
Probably, but I'm going to just add that for myself, I did not exclude Sonic Boom or Monster. They may not show up on my list, but I did not exclude them because both albums I've given many, many listens to over the last, whatever it is, 10, 12 years. I am very familiar with all the songs on there. So they were not excluded from my list. Will they appear? Okay. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but why don't we start with, I guess, a fun one. What we think the best album opener is. That is what we mean by that. First song, first side of the latest album. First song, first side of an album. So where are you going to go? Well, that's why Stanley used to do that sometimes in concerts.
Oh,
the first song on the first side of the latest album. And then they play like All Hell's Breaking Loose. So.
Right. But also one other thing I want to add, I did not include a song like, I don't want to jump, it's like spoiler alert. Like if you said like best Paul song, if it was something where he sang it with Gene, I didn't include that. It had to be a pure Paul song.
Vocals.
Okay.
Right.
Yep. So I just
absolutely agree.
Put that in there.
But for this one opener, it could be anything you want. It could be a Paul song, a Gene song. There's no Ace of Peter songs that open albums or anybody else. But what is the best album opener, studio album for you?
This was very easy. I answered this in about 3 milliseconds.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I'm interested.
Very easy.
Let's see.
Very easy.
Okay.
Strutter is my, I still think that's, that's the song to beat. First album, first song. I still love that song. I play that song live still. Never get tired of it. I gave it a fair shot. I looked at all the records, but I just it just always brought me back to Strutter.
Interesting.
I mean, remember when we were on the cruise and they played Strutter, how excited I got, hearing it in that theater.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for me, Strutter is probably, I'll say it's certainly a top 20 Kiss song of all time for me. When I was putting together my short list of album openers, it was on my list. It was on my list.
I had top 20.
Probably top. I'd say top 20, but it's probably top 10. Okay.
Okay. All right. I feel a little better. All right.
I'm giving myself a little bit of
because I wanted the other 19 songs that were part of that top 20 immediately. Not now, but when you said top 20.
Well, I don't want to say some of them because some of them might appear.
That'll be a whole other episode.
That'll be a whole other episode. No, but it's probably top 10, and I do think that Strutter is one of what I call the most abused or misused songs in the catalog because why Kiss has not included that song on the End of the Road tour, on most of their tours in the 80s. The reunion tour was in and out of the set list. Creatures of the Night tour was in and out of set list. Analyze was in and out of set list. I don't understand that logic. That song is incredible. So I can't fault you for choosing that as your best album opener, but it's not my best album opener. Okay?
I knew that was going to be the case.
Really? Okay. That's interesting.
I knew it. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think this will surprise you then. So my number one album opener is actually Secretly Cruel. No, I'm kidding. That's not even an album opener.
Yeah,
I Stole Your Love to me is my favorite. Again, I had a Strutter on there. but ultimately, the whole riff of "I Stole Your Love" I think is incredible. I'm just talking about songs that Kiss overlook. It's a travesty to me that "I Stole Your Love" has only been played
Travesty!
in.
When the song is missing, you can't go on. It's travesty.
Okay. That's good. So anybody who's only listening, my apologies, but you missed Vinny singing and me dancing over there. But no, to me it's a travesty. The Kiss did that on the '77 tour, on for Love Gun and Alive 2. Then they didn't do it again until the Hot in the Shade tour. And then again, there's one of those songs that was in and out of set list during the reunion era. How this song has not been a staple for decades blows my mind. "I Stole Your Love" for me, best album opener that they've ever had.
I would say it's a good choice. I still think mine's better, but I think you picked a good one though. I mean,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, what I do love about that song is just the two solos by Peter. Yeah, Peter starts. Does a drum solo. Yeah.
Yep.
Paul starts the guitar solo, and then the way they edit it, Ace does the rest, which is awesome.
Yep.
And it was a great. I know it always reminds me of the scene in Kiss Meets the Phantom when they're at the park and they're doing it.
Yep.
Yep. And you could totally tell it live. Yeah, you could totally tell it's live.
Yes.
That was pretty awesome.
Well, to me, they're both the Strutter and "I Stole Your Love," two all-time classics in my mind. Both songs for me make my top 20 all-time Kiss songs. So. It'll be interesting, with all of these, I'll be really curious to, how other people react and if they have different selections or whose list they think is better. But I think so far you started strong, even though we disagreed. And I'm glad we don't have the same thing to start with.
No, we don't want to have the same list. No. That's no fun in that.
That's boring to me. So, yeah. So that's the best album opener to you. What do you think was the worst song to start an album?
Rise to It.
Wow. All right. I'm surprised you said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I used to love that song when that album came out. You were like, "Ooh, sounds like Cinderella. Love, love, love."
Yeah, I was easily fooled.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I think we may have talked about this in another episode. I specifically remember you and I sitting in my basement. Like we used to go either to your place or my place, and we used to listen to music. And when the album came out and we went through every song is great. Like we were like, yeah, this album's great. We were so impressed how so many songs. I just feel like that album just didn't age very well. And when I looked at all the different songs on every album, I just felt like it's not a bad song. Mm-hmm. I'll say that. It's definitely not a bad song. But when I looked at everything, I just felt like it was the weakest. Right. Despite them doing this little slide Cinderella guitar solo to fool you, and it sounds nothing like that once it kicks in.
Right,
Yeah, that's going to be my pick. So now I'm really curious to see what yours, or hear what yours is.
That actually totally shocked me that you picked that. No pun intended there. Yes, because I didn't think that was your number one song by any means to open an album, but I thought to this day that you still like that. And I'll just say this. You mentioned about, there's a lot of filler on Hot in the Shade, and I tend to agree. But if they had done that like as a 9-song album, it'd probably be a strong album.
I don't disagree. There's still some good stuff on there, I guess. But you know what it is. Some of it suffers from like some of the production stuff. Is it a drum machine? Did he play electronic drums? It just has a. If anybody complains about Crazy Nights, I don't mean to that. Other than like Forever on that album, I just think everything has just got that shitburger fucking flavoring. Oops, did I say that?
I think you did.
Yeah. I just don't like the production on that album at all.
Yeah, I could totally understand. I was just listening to an Eric Carr interview this week that was from like 2 weeks after the album came out. And he was talking about the production on the album and how, like, the song Little Caesar, they didn't think they could get it to sound better. And I'm just like, dude, Eric, man, I love you. Love your song. So happy. But of course, you could have got that sound better. And then obviously we know that and he admitted that it was the demo. But, which surprised me. I didn't remember that they were that open about it, 2-3 weeks after the album came out, that he was saying, yeah, that's the demo on the album. But I agree that the sound on that album is not the greatest. So I think it's going to surprise you then that my worst album opener is Rise to It. So I had chose that also.
Wow, I am surprised.
Yeah, well,
if I was really in front of you, I'd high five you right now. But
virtual high five. Wait, like this. Yeah. Right.
That's good.
So it's funny because actually I had a different song as my worst album opener for like the last 2 days when we first spoke about doing this. and that song was King of the Mountain. Actually, I had
Yeah.
as my, and then I was like, you know what? But that drum intro is better than anything in Rise to It. So I got to give the nod to King of the Mountain over Rise to It as a better song. The thing is, when I was looking at album openers, as much as I chose Rise to It, and so did you, I, like you said, I don't think it's a bad song.
No.
And that was the thing when I was looking at the album openers. I'm like, this is tough. There's no clunkers in here. There's nothing.
Hmm.
Even I know in the past I've said I'm not huge on Carnival of Souls. Hate's a good song to start the album. I mean, that song never even crossed my mind as considering as a
Hmm.
bad album opener. And
Hmm.
even I know the later two albums that you don't love, Sonic Boom and Monster. To me, they have two
Hmm.
strong album openers on that. So this one was a little tough for
Hmm.
me. But it's,
Yeah, I agree.
it's interesting that we both went with Rise to It.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm surprised.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
That's
I'm,
cool.
I'm surprised also. I would have never dreamt you would have
Mm.
Rise to It. But all right. So let's flip that album over. Let's go to side two. And let's talk about the best song to start side two.
All right. I'm going to take an ode to when you were younger and give
Yes.
you what the song is. Ready?
Go ahead.
All right.
Right, so those who don't know, yes, when I was like 8 years old, Ben used to make fun of me. I'd play
Wait,
songs on my
hold on.
chest.
8 through 16, not 8
Yeah,
years
maybe.
old.
Okay, maybe.
Until I got my drum set, yeah.
So you got your drums. So
Yeah.
yes, I would play songs on my chest, and you used to sing a song to me. I
I
used to
used to play songs on my chest.
So yeah, so that my chest was my homemade drum.
Or I really should have said, I used to play songs on my breasts.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All right. So your best side two opener is Love Gun. So go ahead, talk about it for a
Yes.
minute.
I mean, again, it's definitely in my top 10, favorite Kiss songs of all time. Another song I still perform. Love this song. I just love everything about it. The production, Paul's bass line in there, his vocals tremendous. The end solo, the way it soars, it really is like the perfect Kiss song to me. There's not like one part of it that's weak in my opinion, and the harmonies in there. Just everything about that song. I just love that song.
Wow.
I
Okay,
love
yeah.
Love Gun. I love Love Gun.
That song never even it crossed my mind, and I instantly eliminated it as a best side two opener. Not sure that would make my top 5 list as opening side two.
Mm.
It's it's a good song. Maybe I'm just so over it. Haven't seen it on every tour since 1979 was the first time I saw
Mm-hmm.
Kiss. I know they played obviously in '77. I just never loved it. I like it, don't love it. So that never
Mm.
even crossed my mind. My short list came down to 2 songs. Anybody who knows me knows probably what song I'm going to pick as my favorite song to open up side two. This is for me a top 5 Kiss song, not stylistically what Kiss is known for, but
Mm-hmm.
love the song. Absolutely love it. I can listen to it every day. It puts me in a good mood. My selection for best side two opener is the song Tomorrow. I think you know that I love that song. So,
And as I love that song too,
yeah.
but it's just for me it just doesn't pass. I mean that's a song you and I have talked about. Like never understood why we never heard that song live.
Yep.
There must be something about it. I don't know, but yeah, that's an awesome tune.
It's,
So
it's
I think you made a good pick. I'll say that. Again, I think I made the better pick, but I think you made a good pick.
Oh, I'm glad you
See a
think you
recurring
made the
theme?
better pick. Yes.
Recurring
Yes.
theme.
Well, regarding Tomorrow, I'll say this, for a number of years on the cruise, they let you put in a vote for what songs, deep cuts you wanted the band to play. And every year I put in Tomorrow. And so did a number of other people. So I was always holding out hope. And twice on the cruise, they've gone, during the electric set, this is a song that's off of Unmasked. I'm like, oh, come on. And then the first time was Is That You? The second time, She's So European. So I'm like, all right, there's 11 songs on the album. They've done 2. There's only, 9 more to go. If there's 35 cruises, I just might get to hear that song eventually.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But there was one time I was at a Paul meet and greet who's doing an acoustic thing, and he's like, what song do you want to play? And he's taking things from the crowd. I'm like, Tomorrow. And he goes, yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll do that one. I'm like,
That sounds like Paul.
Yeah.
That sounds like Paul.
I felt so dejected. I'm like, damn, even just to get a verse, smooth. What are you drinking?
Coke Zero.
All right. The other song that was under consideration for me, but couldn't surpass Tomorrow, and neither one of us brought it up, is Come On and Love Me. I think it's a great song, great opening to side 2. I would put that before Love Gun as well. So I just want to give a shout out to that song.
All right. I think you made another good choice there, but I still stand by my decision.
Yeah, and you know what? I bet you most fans will probably agree with you over me on this one. But Tomorrow's been a top five Kiss song for me, period, for
Hmm.
decades. So
Yeah.
that was an easy choice for me. So then
Hmm.
let's talk about worst side two opener. What do you have for that?
Um, I had "Kissin' Time" on there.
Wow. Okay,
I know.
another
I mean,
surprise for me.
yeah. Again, it's so pseudo cover or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, just again, it's not horrible.
Right.
But
Right.
it's just when I looked at everything, I just felt like that was the one that stood out the most.
Wow. I'm surprised you'll choose that over one of the songs that I'm about to say right now. And yes, I just want to acknowledge one thing. We know that Deuce was the original first song on the second side of the first pressing. There's only 50,000 copies of that. Kissing Time is the first song on the second side for
Hmm.
99.9% of the copies out there.
Hmm.
I agree that that's the opener on side two. I
Hmm.
love Peter's vocal in that song. Again, that's another one that's may never crossed my mind to put as my worst side two
Hmm.
opener. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. Mine was I'll say somewhat of an easy choice for me. Love's a Deadly Weapon. Just it's one of those really bad
Yeah.
80s Kiss songs. I'm like, wow, you
Yeah.
actually
Wait. Wait
think
a
Kissing
second.
Time is worse than Love's a Deadly
No.
Weapon?
Actually, I don't think so. I will retract that. If that's
Ooh,
did I miss that somehow? That is on
Asylum.
Asylum. Let me just make sure when I was looking at my Wikipedia because I was going boom boom boom. I had all my tabs. Yeah, it is. You know what? Good point.
All
Good point.
right, score
Yeah.
one for me. My
I'll,
list is
I'll, I'll
better.
retract.
My list is
Wait,
better.
wait. This one choice was better, not list.
Yes, everybody knows my list is better than yours. I'm actually glad to hear you'll because as you're saying Kissing Time, like really worse than Love's a Deadly Weapon,
No,
really?
yeah, I over. Now you know this for a fact. I told you like, yeah, I may have some time tonight. I came home from a
Right.
roasted work, and I
Mm-hmm.
got home. Even before I ate, I put this list together as quickly as I
Yep.
could so we could do this. Not
Yep.
that I rushed it, but I did. So
Well, we know the albums for the most part, off the top of our head
because
anyway. So
sometimes it's the best way to do it because then you're going to overthink it. So
yes,
sometimes you just got
agreed.
to make that. So
Agreed. Agreed.
yeah.
The other one that came into my mind as a potential worst side two opener, and I actually like this song less than Love's a Deadly Weapon, is the song In My Head, which I
Mm,
think technically on the album, the LP version of Carnival of
mm,
Souls, I do think
yeah.
that's the first song on the second side. But to
Yeah.
me, Carnival of Souls was a CD release. That was just the whatever it is, 11 songs straight through. I know Jungle ended side one, but for me, Carnival of Souls wasn't an A side, B side type of thing. It just never was. So I said, yeah, I'm going to stick with Love's a Deadly Weapon, but certainly in my head could be a strong
Yeah.
consideration for
I
worst
mean,
opener.
it's true. It's true because you got to understand. I think after probably Revenge, they were sequencing records or albums, whatever you want to call it, for
Right,
CDs. So the fact that it just so happened with the vinyl they had to split it that way,
right,
that doesn't mean they would have sequenced it that way.
right,
So that is a really good point because some
right.
people say, well, it is. If they did make a vinyl product, yeah, but they made the vinyl product when all the remasters came out. In what 2013 was that?
Yeah, I don't think there was a vinyl before that. There might have been,
Right?
but I don't think
No,
so. But
no.
to you're spot on. They might have tracked
Right,
the album differently. So that's
right,
why I said, well, let me put it to the side, even though it is the first song on side two. And
right,
certainly I can make a very strong case for that to be the worst
right.
side two opener. Certainly I put both of those before Kissing Time. So your choice was just horrible.
All right.
Totally
Yeah,
egregious what you just said.
yeah.
Okay.
It's more egregious if I disagreed with you.
That's true. That's true. I might have to give you a
Right? I'm
demerit in the
not.
friendship.
I have a lot of
Uh,
credits. I'm not worried about that.
there you go. All right. So then let's go to the end of side two, right? So the album closer. What do you think is the best final song? I think we're going to agree on this one. What's the
Wait,
best final song?
all right. Did you skip
Yeah,
one?
yeah, I skipped one, right?
Come on, you're
Let's
trying
stick
to
on side
confuse
two.
it.
I
All right.
want to confuse you.
Okay. This was interesting because I debated it, but then
Really?
So
Wow.
originally I said, of course, Rock and Roll All Night, the rock and roll anthem. That's what I originally said. But then I said, you know what? I mean, obviously it's one of the greatest rock songs I've written. But I actually put Black Diamond on as my best final song. To me, just as a song, like the writing of the tune, and how it starts, Peter's vocal, how it ends, and obviously how it became a concert staple,
Yep.
and there's that whole thing. So that's my choice for best final song.
Yeah, yeah, we both agree on this one. To me, I thought about Rock and Roll All Night for about a third of a second. And I was like, nah, it's not even close to Black Diamond. Black Diamond is probably one of my top 3 Kiss songs, period.
Hmm.
So for me to say it's not the best album closer would be crazy. I would just be giving a nod to the fact that Rock and Roll All Night is what it is, an all-time Kiss classic, the number 1 Kiss classic. But in terms of a song, Black Diamond to me is incredible. I have to admit this. If I was doing top 5 album closes, this might surprise you. I actually would have, I think, War Machine on my list. And I say that surprised me. I know people watching this saying, of course, that's a great song. Vinny knows I hated that song in the 80s, despised it. And, I've been listening to some of the recordings from the 80s. And the other night I was watching the Animalized Live video. And, they're playing those songs at like 1,000 miles an hour. And I'm like, I think that's why I hated that song in the 80s. It lost all of its feel. Now the band does it and it's a much heavier, stronger groove. I've gone back to like it. It's not the best. Black Diamond is still my choice, but I just wanted to acknowledge my change in mindset.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah. So this one's easy. This one, I don't even think we should spend more than 10 seconds on this. If you don't choose the same song I choose for worst final song on an album, then we're just going to...
I know what yours is going to be.
Yeah.
I know what yours is going to be.
Wow, and yours is going to be different?
Yes.
Wow.
And when I put it down there, when I put it down, I knew that you were going to be, you're going to choose reaction.
You're going to choose Then She Kissed Me, but go ahead.
Nope.
No, okay. What could be worse than my choice? My choice is is probably the worst Kiss song, period, and maybe one of my 20 worst songs of all time. What could be worse than that to finish a Kiss album? I got to hear this.
You don't have any idea.
No, I really don't. I don't even know how anything could be even remotely close to the song that I'm going to choose.
All right, Murder in High Heels. Come on, that's a good choice. It's a good choice.
It's a solid second or third choice for Kiss's worst album closer, but it's look.
All right, you said second or third, but yes. I know what yours is going to be. Can I even say? Can I spoil it?
Go ahead, say it for me. Go ahead.
A Boomerang. Yeah.
The worst Kiss song ever. How could anybody not choose Boomerang as the worst song to finish an album? I'm not saying that your choice is a good song.
You said second or third.
Yes.
You said second or third. Second or third.
Yes, but if you compare Murder in High Heels to Boomerang, Murder in High Heels is like freaking Stairway to Heaven compared to Boomerang.
I'm curious. This is one thing I want to see people comment about. This little debate.
Yeah, to me, they're not even close. I'm saying it's second or third, but they're not close.
Can we say they're both shit sandwiches?
Murder in High Heels is not good, but I can't even put the two songs in the same sentence because that's how bad Boomerang is.
So you're saying that Boomerang has more spicy mayo on that shit sandwich,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Mine has just the regular Hellman's. You got the spicy mayo, the Chipotle, whatever.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is one I didn't even have to think of. When we said,
I knew it.
I was like, oh, Boomerang. Okay,
I knew it. I knew this is going to be Brunn's choice.
I am stunned it wasn't yours. Look, I'm not saying Murder in High Heels is a great song.
It never upset me as much as it did you. I knew you always hated it, and I it's not that I don't disagree, but you've always, despised the song with every fiber of your being.
In case you can't tell if you're watching this. I'm like pains that you chose a different song other than Boomerang.
Well,
Pains. But like you said, I'll be curious to see if people agree with me or not, or if they have a different choice than either of the two that we chose. But so let's go back to side one then for a moment, right? Because one of the things I think is always great, whether you're at a concert, listening to an album, is that 1-2 punch. And, Kiss in concert, whether it was, on the reunion tour, Deuce into King of the Nighttime World, whatever it is, that 1-2 punch to me is always great. For an album as well, to me, I love that 1-2 punch. It really sets the tone for the rest of the record. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to listen to what you choose here because I've got 5 different choices on the table right now for this one. Yeah. 5. Yeah.
I didn't have that many. But
yeah. So what is your best 1-2 punch to start an album?
My best 1-2 punch, and I think you'll at least half appreciate this.
I hope so, because I got 5 of them on my list, so you better not come up with number 6.
Is I Stole Your Love and Christine 16.
Okay. It is on my list. I could listen. So you could now defend your position.
Well, it's not defending you. What am I? What am I defending?
The
You didn't say anything yet to me to defend it. You didn't say
truth.
that's a. You didn't say that's a bad choice. You just said that's on my list of five. Now defend your. It makes no sense.
Yeah, you're right. It made
What are
absolutely no
you?
sense.
What are you becoming me?
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, well, look, I put I Still Your Love as my number one album opener. So,
Right.
and
That's why
Christine
when you said
16's a
that
great song.
before, I was
Yeah,
like, but and I was thinking in my head, but you'll see.
yeah,
That's how strong I think that song is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's a solid choice. It's interesting because you chose Strutter as your best album opener. And I said it's also a solid choice, but Strutter and Nothing to Lose did not make even my final five, believe it or not. And I happen to like Nothing to Lose. It's nothing against
Yeah,
it.
me too. Me
But
too.
it tells me how many great 1-2 punches there are on albums. I tend to
So
lean. Go ahead.
tell me, let's go through the four that you didn't choose before you go to the last. I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Isaac, that's one of them.
yeah. The thing is, I haven't made a final choice yet, and there's
Oh
a part of me
God.
that wants to go with what you said, I Still You Love and Christine 16, because they're two classic songs. I love them both. Um, I'll tell you my other four. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a decision because all five of these are just monsters to me, no pun intended. And no, none of them are from Monster. Um,
Thank
what
God.
I have on my number one right now is Got to Choose and Parasite. Parasite again is a top 5 Kiss song for me. So right off the top, that's an upper echelon song. Got to Choose, love the harmonies on that. It's such a solid song. So that's right now number one on my list is my 1-2 punch. My initial choice I had there was Detroit Rock City and King of the Nighttime World, right? So again, Detroit Rock City is a classic, right into King of the Nighttime World. I ultimately removed it because I'm like, King of the Nighttime World is technically a cover tune, and I couldn't put that as my number 1-1-2 punch, maybe for that reason. So I said, I'm taking it off the list. And I'm actually realizing I only have 4, not 5 on my list. And then my other one that's on my list right now is I Want You and Take Me. Again, two absolute powerhouses. I think I land on Got to Choose and Parasite simply because how much I love Parasite. No other reason. But I Stole Your Love and Christine 16, like Parasite and I Stole Your Love are both in my top 5 Kiss songs. So now it becomes, well, do I like Christine 16 or Got to Choose more? Which one do I like more? And those two are also very close. It's a tough
very different.
choice.
They're very different.
Yeah, very different. So I'm glad you chose I Still You Love and Christine 16 because then I'm going to choose Got to Choose and Parasite just to be different. But yours is a solid choice.
And I agree with you. You made a good choice there too. So I have nothing to rebut against that.
Yeah, this one. I mean, look, I just threw out 4 of them, right? I'm really hedging myself on this one. This one was the toughest one for me because all 4 of those are just monster stars. And there's other great 1-2 punches. Like I've jokingly said, monster stars. I happen to think from Monster, Hella Hallelujah, and Wall of Sound are incredible as the first 2 songs. I can't put them in that category of the songs I just listed before that. But for Monster, Wall of Sound, Hella Hallelujah is the first 2 songs, the opposite order, are great in my opinion, but not my choice. I'll go with Got to Choose and Parasite.
Cool.
So then what is your worst first 2 songs?
Rise to It and Betrayed.
Wow. Okay. Wow. You really don't like Rise to It. Wow.
No.
Wow. You hate Rise to It, man. What a hater.
It's just again, even Betrayed, not a horrible song. I listen to the verse now. I'm like, whatever. I used to like that song a lot more. It's like, they got the deuce groove in there. Yeah,
yes, they do.
They went back to that groove. I remember how excited I was, but it kind of just lost its luster for me. And again, when I looked at the full body of work and what was 1 and 2, these were the 2 that stood out to me.
So you are a hot in the shade hater. A hits hater. Yeah, I actually have as my worst 2 songs to start an album, Asylum, King of the Mountain, and Any Way You Slice It. And, think about what we were saying before as worst album openers, and I went back and forth between King of the Mountain and Rise to It. I actually think Betrayed is a far superior song to Any Way You Slice It. I happen to like Betrayed. It lacks from the production. I'm glad you brought up the production before. But it's a good song, in my opinion.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that. However, I just think King of the Mountain is just that much better than Rise to It, in my opinion. So when I weigh both
Right.
songs, I guess again I could teeter to your town, but I'm not going to give you this other credit. But I still feel yeah. Anyway, Slice, I've never liked that song. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
But I always like King of the Mountain. I think even when we saw Bruce's band do it, right?
Yep.
I was definitely old toad, when they did that. I was like,
Yes.
yeah, this song live really kicks ass,
And I'm glad you
know?
brought that up because we've seen Bruce do a lot of these songs on the cruise
Mm-hmm.
from the 80s. And you said it to me one year when we were on the cruise together. Something about hearing them live, even a song like Burn Bitch Burn, like, damn, that sounds good. That sounds good. And I do wonder sometimes if the production on the 80s albums was better or different, not even better, but different, if maybe we'd feel a little bit different about some of those songs.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's also the Kiss appetite as fans we have when we've heard the same songs over and over again, that even if it's a B level or C level song, the fact that it's new and we're hearing it like for the first time, we get excited about it. And then it's
agreed.
a live thing, and it's got that live feel to it that just brings it up in a bunch of notches, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Of course, even for me, a song like Two Timer is not a great song by any means. But when I saw Kiss do it on the cruise one year, man, I was excited as if they were doing Tomorrow. Just because, hey, I haven't seen this before, and it translates okay live. So, so kudos to Bruce's team, really, to me and his band for bringing these songs to life, because they make what I think in some cases is average songs sound absolutely incredible. So I just want to acknowledge that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then, all right, what is your favorite one side of a Kiss album?
This might surprise you.
All right.
This might actually surprise you.
Why? This is going to surprise
because
me.
Because we've had debates.
Uh-huh.
My favorite first side of an album is Hotter Than Hell.
Okay. I'm surprised. I thought you were going to go with the debut album personally, but I'm interesting.
No, when I looked it over, because we know we've had this debate, you and I, on a previous episode, which we actually rated each song, and we had an average and number, and we did that, and I still chose the first album. You chose Hotter Than Hell. Yep. But, again, when I looked it over, I was like, and to your point, again, Got to Choose, Parasite's on there, Going Blind, Hotter Than Hell, Let Me Go Rock and Roll. I mean, there's not a dud on that side, really. And usually every Kiss album has at least one dud. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, Yep. But, I mean, that is a solid, side of music, man. Whew.
It is.
And I just wish those songs had the kind of production to give it the. I mean, but we do know that there's the alive version of those that obviously kick ass, compared to the. But I mean, listen, I can still listen to the Hotter Than Hell and has certain charm and something to it. I've kind of gotten past that whole like sonics of the album. You just got to get past it.
Right.
But I do wish. It really got the treatment they deserve because the songs are that good.
No, I can understand. So does that mean maybe you're coming around to my side, that Hotter Than Hell is a better album than the debut?
That will never happen.
I actually thought you might pick side 2 of
as long as Deuce, Strutter, and Black Diamond still remain on that first Kiss album. If you just add 100,000 years, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yep.
On those 4 songs alone, I just can't. I mean, never, ever. Come on. Come on. Come on one more time. Never get tired of any of those 4 songs.
Which is why I thought you were going to pick side 2 of the debut for 100,000 Years, Deuce, and Black Diamond. But then when you chose before the worst album opener, and then you changed it, but it was Kissing Time. Like, all right, and Love Theme isn't going to raise it. So
yeah, exactly. And that was my second consideration. So
interesting.
Yeah, you know me well.
So Hotter Than Hell side 1 was my second consideration, and I had it there, and I kept going back and forth between these, but I ultimately landed on side 1 of Rock and Roll Over. And for me, those. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I had a feeling. Feeling that might be. Yeah. I looked at that, and I just, Ladies Room to me was like, I don't know. I just felt like, there's 5 songs on that,
yep.
and Hotter Than Hell's 5 also, right?
Yep.
I listen, I love I Want You is one of my, again, that was one that I was seriously considering for best album opener. I fucking love that song,
Yep.
Take Me, I'm actually going to be tracking that, and I think in a day or two I have to do this
Nice.
for my client.
Nice. The
Client.
client.
Yeah, so I'll be tracking that, and that's a song that as I've gotten older and now learning it and playing on guitar, bass, drums, whatever I have to do, I love that. And calling Dr. Love to me never gets old. But
Right.
Ladies Room and Baby Driver, Ladies Room to me, Baby Driver is a cool tune. I love Peter's vocal on it. It's a bit underrated, I would say.
I
That
agree.
song,
100% agree. So
yeah.
many people I don't think give that song enough credit.
Yeah, but I think it's just got that one peg that's a little weak that makes Hotter Than Hell better.
For me, it almost came down to, I love Parasite on Hotter Than Hell. So that was probably the number one of the 10 songs on all the side one things. But then I was like, got to choose I Want You. Well, I like I Want You better. Take Me is really killer song. Calling Dr. Love was my first Kiss song I ever knew. So I'll always have a special attachment to that. I love the solo in there. That's one of my favorite Ace Frehley solo. I'm glad you said it. I love Peter's vocal on Baby Driver. And I happen to like Ladies Room also. It's another one of these like lost classics to me. So I could go to your side. You made a solid, I'll be like you. You made a solid choice. I have no problem with your choice. I'll stick with my Rock and Roll Over side one.
I agree. I mean, well, I'm going to say I think you made a solid choice there too. So
you can't go wrong with either one.
No, no.
I don't think anybody's going to listen to that and say those guys are nuts. What the hell are they thinking with those two choices?
Right.
So then, not. Yeah, I hope not. But so now this is interesting. I don't know where you're going to go with this one. Oh, maybe I do. Maybe I do. I might know where you're going. Worst side of an album.
Worst side of an album. Hot in the Shade, side two. Okay. Side two of Hot in the Shade.
I thought you might go Animalize after your Murder in High Heels choice.
No, I mean, look, let's look at these songs here. Side two of Hot in the Shade. I don't know, Cadillac Dream, Kings of Hearts, Street Giver, the Street, You Love Me to Hate You, Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell, Little Caesar, Boomerang. I mean, come on, that's an overstuffed shit sandwich, in my opinion.
I have to strongly disagree with you. I happen to think King of Hearts might be one of the most underrated Kiss songs of the 80s. It pains me to hear you say that that's a shit sandwich.
It's the best song. No, I didn't say King of Hearts is a shit sandwich. The whole side. And I agree with you. King of Hearts is probably an underrated song.
Right. Okay. All right. So I happen to like Cadillac Dreams as well. I have no problem with that. It's funny. It's a different feel to it. I like that song. I have no problems with that. And Little Caesar, I like it. It's okay. It's not great. But it's Eric Carr, so I'm going to like it. And even Street Giver with the acoustic guitar. Do you really?
I have problems with Little Caesar because first of all, they changed the lyrics, right? Why'd they change the lyrics?
Copyright.
Copyright of what?
I don't remember what was the song that Ain't That Peculiar, right?
Yeah.
Right. So.
Nah. Stupid reason. I'm sorry. Why? Because that was a Marvin Gaye song, a title.
Right.
Yeah, but you could use titles. The titles, you can't copyright a title.
But I think a lot of the lyrics were the same, also, if I remember right. Yeah. So, regardless, I have to disagree.
It bothers me that they made it like they freaking made him sing it like Gene Simmons. It just sounds like you can cut it like a knife. Come on, I mean that's like a total.
Sing that a little louder next time, please. I need you to be a little louder in my ears, please.
Don't say that. You know what I'll give you next.
Oh, please don't. Please don't. Oh, man. No, my only gripe with that song is that Eric had much better songs than that were declined for albums. So, for that reason, I could listen to what you're saying. But, that wouldn't be a worse
Animalize, you're right. Animalize is not a great side two either.
But Under the Gun is actually a decent song.
Well, true. I did see Under the Gun,
Thrills in the
Night, and what Thief in the Night is on there.
No, that's Crazy Nights.
No. Yes. I'm not.
While the City Sleeps.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that, because Under the Gun and Thrills in the Night are, I think, much stronger than anything that's on the side, and it's a little unfair because there's what
4 songs compared to like 7 or something.
7,
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, worst side of an album, I have to go there. I know you want to do an entire episode on this album, and I'll be more than happy to do that one day. Side 2 of Carnival of Souls is horrific. With the exception of the last song, The Look in the Mirror, the songs, what in my head, I mentioned it before. It Never Goes Away. Yes, I wish that song would go away. Seduction of the Innocent, horrific. I Confess. These are horrible songs. Absolutely. I've realized that my dislike for Carnival of Souls is not because it's a grunge album. It's because those 4 songs are horrific. In my mind, they're absolutely horrible. One after the other, after the other, after. It's not like they break it up. Like, I wish the sequencing was a little bit different where I didn't get those 4 in a row. Those might be 4 of the worst Kiss songs, period. And they're all on one side, on one album. Oh, God, it's horrible. Horrible.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I respectfully disagree.
It's horrible. Oh man, I'd rather listen to Boomerang 20 times in a row than having to listen to those 4 songs.
Then that's your job for tonight. I want you to listen to Boomerang.
Yeah, it just and I as I looked at the albums, I realized side 1 I actually like. I like Hate. Rain is okay. Master and Slave is good. I Will Be There. Jungle. I like those songs. It's just those 4 on side 2. Boo, 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 and boo. Man, they're bad.
Well, I'll be curious to see what people think about it. Because we haven't done what I've been asking to do, the Carnival of Souls episode.
Yeah, and we will, and one day we'll dig a little deeper into that.
Why? You just did it. What do we need to do? You just did it. I don't need to know your opinion. I know you like the first 4 songs of the album. You hate the rest.
That's true.
Episode over.
Well, now let me ask you this. I don't know because I didn't think either one of us would choose any of the classic 6 albums to have a worse side. By the classic 6, I mean the first 6 studio albums that But if you had to choose a worse side from those first 6 studio albums, can you do that?
A worse side, just comparing the 6?
Yeah, just the first original 6 albums. Right, this is tough because we're talking about 6 classic albums, great albums. And I'm curious if you have any thoughts on that one.
I'm looking very quickly. It might be. I'm up to Love Gun. Okay. I would probably say side 2 of... This is hard. No, I can't even say that. I can't even say that.
This is why I'm doing this here, because it's that this is hard.
This one's hard. Yeah, originally I was going to say side 2 of Rock. I'm sorry, Hotter Than Hell, but then I just looked at it and go, no, it's not.
Oh, that pains me if you choose that.
I didn't. I just said. I just looked at it again. I was like, no, I can't.
I might have to find somebody else to be my partner in crime if you ever chose that.
Maybe. I mean, I can't even be that.
I love that I'm doing this to you.
Yeah,
and then I'm doing this to you in real time. This is great.
Why this wasn't on the list? I might
texted this to you. I
did you
text? Yes, I did, but it was ignored the text.
All right. I don't think I could come up with it right now.
I will say, for me, it's probably side 2 of Love Gun. As much as
I was just looking at that.
As much as I like those songs, but Hooligan, Almost Human, Then She Kissed Me, I like them all. I like all 3 of those songs, but they're all average at best, right? Plastic Kiss, I guess I've warmed up to because they do it acoustic all these years. But you could probably even throw that in the mix. There's 4 songs that are not spectacular.
Well, let's remember, as kids, we wouldn't even probably listen to side 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We never. If I remember correctly, we used to laugh at Hooligan just by the name.
Agreed. Yep.
And you're right. Until it was like the Unplugged stuff.
Right.
Plastic Caster. We would like and Almost Human. Besides having the same little bass riff that he has in what's the one on side 2 of
Larger Than Life.
Larger Than Life. Thank you.
Right. So I thought about this when I was thinking about this, and to me, this side's largely a throwaway. Imagine if Kiss released Love Gun as side A of Love Gun, and then side B was the song Love Gun, and then the 4 new songs from Alive 2. Wow. Now we might be talking about the best Kiss album of all time, potentially, right? So
that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, that was all 77, right? So imagine if that was the Love Gun album. That would be killer. And the flip side, imagine if side 2 of Love Gun was the 5 extra songs on Alive 2. I don't think anybody would really be overly excited for it, except for Love Gun.
Yeah.
So,
but I will agree with you on that one. Now I'm looking at it.
Yeah. To me, that's, I don't want to say the easy choice because again, I like those songs, but to me, that was the standout of the classic albums. So, all right, let's make it even tougher now for you. The best Kiss album for Paul Stanley songs.
Rock and Roll Over.
Wow, you didn't even hesitate. Didn't even
Nope.
hesitate.
Nope. Nope.
So
Definitely.
I agree. I chose Rock
Yeah.
and Roll Over also, and it was somewhat easy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I mean, I Want You, Take Me, um, Making Love, Mr. Speed's incredible
Mm-hmm.
song. And, I'll even give a nod to Paul, even though he's not singing it. Hard Luck Woman, great song. I mean, he delivered the goods on that album.
Yeah.
Great, great, great songs.
As you see, as we do some of this, there are certain things where in other picks we were different, but we kind of cross over,
Yeah. Yes.
which is kind of cool.
Agreed.
But yeah, this was relatively easy when I looked at it.
And yeah, you didn't even hesitate. I thought that might be a
Yeah.
little tough for you, but
Yeah.
because I thought you might contemplate the first album again with Strutter,
And I did. I did.
100,000 Years, Black Diamond. I know Peter Criss singing most Black
Yeah.
Diamond, but
Yeah.
I figured you would consider that one,
Mm-hmm.
especially because you've been on record saying that that's one of your all-time favorite Kiss albums.
It's true.
Yet,
It's true.
except for Strutter as the opening song, nothing else has made this list to date so far.
That's
That's
true.
interesting.
It's true.
So the body of work for the whole debut album for you is great, but there's nothing except for maybe Strutter as the starter that stood out in these choices that we're making.
Like I just said before, Strutter, Deuce, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond on one record. To
Right.
me, and there's obviously some other good ones on there too.
Yep.
I mean, you know,
Yep.
it's like the Mount Rushmore of Kiss to me. You know what I mean?
It is. It is.
You know,
So what about then? Which album do you think had the best Gene songs on it?
Hotter Than Hell, which. Are you starting to see a theme here?
Mm-hmm.
I got more Hotter Than Hell choices than I have of the first Kiss album, and I debated you, but I'll go back to what I just said about 30 seconds ago. Strutter, Deuce. That's why I'll always go back to that album. But yeah, when I looked at it,
Then I
again,
will say, and I'll go back
hey,
to Love Theme from Kiss and Kiss in Time.
But look, you see, at least I'm objective. I don't just stand
Yes.
by you know what I mean. So
And I appreciate that. And for best Gene songs, I also had Hotter Than Hell there. But I do, just to kind of mix this up a little bit. So Hotter Than Hell is my choice. So we both agree with that. But I do want to give a nod and a shout out to Look It Up, right? Because Gene, to me, really delivered. The 80s albums don't sometimes get the credit that some of them deserve. And, whether it was Young and Wasted, which I happen to love that song, Fits Like a Glove. I don't know why some Kiss fans now totally crap on that song. And I love that they had that in the set list all through the 80s. I think those are two great Gene songs. On the Eighth Day, I've really grown to love quite a bit over the years. Not for the Innocent, I think, is a great song. I don't like the recording on the album, quite honestly. I think the demo is better than what was on the album. But it's a good Gene song. And then I guess Dance All Over Your Face is So that's why I couldn't go with Lick It Up. And Hot in Hell is just, he's got classic songs on there. But I wanted to give a shout out to Lick It Up because I think Gene really delivered the goods on that one.
Yep, and I think that was a good acknowledgement.
No, thank you.
I respect that. I respect that.
Thank you. So what is your favorite album cover?
Oh crap! I didn't do that one.
Really?
But I'm going to make it easy.
To me. You said we should talk about album cover.
But no, it's easy. I think it's easy. I mean, just to get off the top of my head, it's probably Rock and Roll Over.
Right. Yeah. I tend to agree with you on Rock and Roll Over. Again, I want to give a shout out to Lick It Up album cover. It's very plain. I get that.
Yeah.
But having Gene standing there, arms crossed, sticking out the tongue was perfect. That is really the perfect photo for the first Kiss album without makeup,
Agreed.
right? Because what was so identifiable about Kiss? Gene Simmons, the tongue with makeup, right? So I think that's a great photo, but Rock and Roll Over to me is probably my favorite album cover period of all time. So that's going to be my choice as well. So then what is your
I'm
least
scrolling through all the covers.
I know. I'm going to ask him before I could click through them all.
I think I know this one is easy too.
Go ahead.
I think this is an easy one.
What's that?
Look, I think it's easy to go to maybe The Elder or something like that, just whatever. But honestly, I think it's probably Uh,
I
I don't
know it
know.
sounded like I knew what you mean.
I think it's easy also to go to like Asylum because of that whole like but I mean Animalize is just so damn plain. It's kind of just like I don't know. I mean, you look at it, it's just like, all right, I get what they were trying to do, but at least Asylum's got some style to it. It may be dated or something,
Right,
or maybe it's like a Andy Warhol type of thing. But I still not, like I don't like the look of the band then,
right.
but when I see the album cover, I'm like, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Thinking of it, but Animalize, to quote you with the cold gin. That's just a boring album cover.
It
It's just
is.
friggin' boring.
It
At
is.
least the elder invokes some like thinking, like, oh, okay, you got a hand on there, whatever. Like at least it's got some, I don't know, like why did they do this? I don't Animalize is like it's just so obvious. It's like Animalize. All right, let's put different skins of animals on there.
Right.
Yeah, who's the genius who came up with that? You know what I
Yeah, I don't
mean?
know. And now look, Analyze is my choice also, although I did go back and forth a number of times between Analyze and the Elder, and just having a Duty Brown cover like that with a hands on it, just there's nothing
Not just
exciting about it.
Brown,
It's Duty
not just
Brown.
Brown, Duty
Duty
Brown.
Brown, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no, like you said, like, it gets you to think. It doesn't get me to think at all. It's like the only thing that gets me to think is, man, that's a bad album cover. After all the classic '70s album covers,
I don't know.
that's the next one.
Okay, could you at least maybe think about this? At least it's somewhat iconic looking, where Animalize doesn't have any sort of. I mean, think of what the Elder is. Come on, step back a second. Stop being a Brun. You know? Think about it for a second. It's got. I mean, I don't have to convince you. I just think it just smells like the Elder when you see it. You look at the cover. It just got that thing. I don't know. All right. You disagree. That's fine.
I have to disagree.
I'm not. Listen. If I put like top 3 or 4, the Elder would be in there.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending. Oh my God, this is
Right.
unbelievable.
Yeah, and for me, it was so close between Animalize and the Elder. I was actually hoping maybe you chose something else, so I could even flip flop my answer, but I'll stick with Animalize.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do want to say we're talking about good album covers. I also think Creatures of the Night's a great album cover. I love that album cover. It didn't make my number one, but I gave a shout out to look it up. I want to give a shout out to Creatures of the Night. Also, I think that's a great album cover.
I agree.
So all right, let's talk about now the inside of the album a little bit.
Am I not prepared for this one too?
I don't know. This was your idea.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite inserts in an album.
Yeah. This was
I like this.
easy.
You shot me a text today. You're like, add this one to the list. Let's talk about favorite inserts on an album. I'm like, oh, I like that.
No, I did this one.
Okay, good. Good. You're smiling. Like, yeah, I did this one. Yeah, this is my idea. Yeah.
Yeah, this is my idea. Favorite inserts has got to be Alive too. The booklet in there, the cool like tattoos, like just to think of that. The order form with the merch. I don't know. The first Alive album booklet is cool, but the whole evolution of Kiss and that whole thing. You got to take it from that time period of like the build up to that.
Right.
I think it's pretty damn cool. I think it's what do they always say? It's a trinket. What do they always say? A souvenir.
Mm-hmm.
It's a souvenir. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's a great souvenir.
Yeah.
Even if it was just a booklet alone,
right.
Even if it didn't have the damn tattoos,
right?
To be quite honest.
The booklet, I love the pictures in that book. It's a great book. I love the way they did like 73, 74, 75, even though some of the pictures don't line up with the years exactly. But regardless, it's still a great book. They had the little story on the back of the book, kind of summarize each of the years.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the tattoos was cool. I think I have to go with my favorite album with an insert being Asylum, when they put that little thing inside to order the Animalize VHS. I think that was great.
Yeah, that was great. Right. Yeah. Because you didn't already own it by then.
Exactly. No. I actually wish they would have done more. I know you mentioned before the Asylum album. I happen to like that album cover personally, and I've actually even grown to like that whole era of the costumes and all. I wish there was some fun inserts in that album, because I've really embraced, I don't love the album, but I've embraced the whole look, with the exception of Gene. I've embraced that whole look. So,
yeah. Well, they had the pasty white faces that made it a little bit too,
Yeah.
I think it was so much the makeup on the face, and yeah, Jane just looked out of place with whatever outfit he was. This guy looks like, B. Arthur,
Right.
with like,
Exactly. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree. But, for me, I know we said we weren't going to include the solo albums with all of our side one, side two choices, but I love those solo album posters. If I'm allowed to kind of make
You are.
my exception, I know a lot of people don't,
It's
but
your show. You can do whatever you want.
that's true. I'm
Yeah.
changing the rules right now. God
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
happen to love the solo album posters, how they connected with each other. Each of the albums had the order forms for their own individual merchandise.
Different colors
Yeah,
to
different
match.
colors.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually think just that those, I know that they're cheesy, they're cartoon drawings, they didn't spend a lot of time on it, but there's something about connecting them as a kid and getting the whole set that I really love. And it's still to this day something that I do hold like kind of near and dear from my childhood. So as much as I love your choice of Alive 2, I'm going to change the rules for a moment. I'm going to go with solo album insert posters.
Okay, I can't disagree with you. And I remember you having them connected or whatever.
Yeah.
I was young and I didn't have all the albums. I only had one, so I couldn't connect the damn posters. Maybe I would have made that choice. But yeah. But yeah.
Good.
Great concept. I always thought they were a little too cartoonish looking, like almost too artificial. But
Yeah.
I could see what you're saying there, and I will, respectfully say good choice on your part.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to duck for a second.
Oh boy!
My head, right? Hey, look at what's
Yeah.
on the wall.
Oh yeah.
The 4 solo
Yeah.
albums, right? So I love those solo albums.
And if you were up in my studio right now, I have them autographed up
Yes,
on my walls.
absolutely. I love the. I mean, when we're talking about album covers, I happen to think they did an amazing job on those solo album covers. I think they're great, and I love the inserts. I love the posters.
Yeah.
So that's. But you're good choice with Alive 2. I really
Thank
like
you.
those as well. And then third
Thank
will
you.
be Asylum on our list. So
Yeah.
what about your favorite label that they chose? Like, so the albums always had like cool labels on them,
Yeah.
right? And Casablanca
Yeah.
had different variations, and different albums had different labels on it. What was your favorite label?
Well, look, I'll always be very fond of the first original label, the blue, the classic blue. Okay, but if we're gonna, I'm not saying not to include that, but I wanted to go with something that was different from the usual Casablanca, and I just remember as a kid when I got Dynasty and seeing the way that looked on there. I know it was the poster inside, but it was just so damn cool. Just seeing all 4 of their faces like a real photo, not like because I think they had it on Love Gun. Didn't they have it on Love Gun? Did they have?
Yeah, they had the picture from the album cover on Love Gun. Yep.
But this was like a real photo.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because even Unmasked, it was the same thing, right? They used the inside poster on that. But yeah, right? The whole gasp or whatever the hell.
No, they didn't use the poster. I thought that was like a white label.
I don't know about that. I thought they used the poster. Oh,
You could look it up. It's been a few years. You're the vinyl guy, not me, right? I haven't
Yeah.
played my vinyl in years. While you're looking that up, I'll give my choice. So I think my favorite label, there's another one that you proposed to me. Say, hey, let's add this. Let's talk about this. And when you first said it, my first thought that came to mind.
It does have it. It does have the
Okay, so I'm wrong, and it's like,
that's
right.
Where they're holding the mask.
Right. It's cut across the top. It's got the picture on the top, and then it's white on the bottom with all the songs listed on it. Now it's coming to mind. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I just had to think for a moment.
Which is also pretty cool, but I like the fact that Dynasty is that real picture.
It is. No, those.
And I thought it was a great poster.
Agreed. Absolutely, 100% agree with it. Yep. Nope. I like the poster also. I think my favorite label, as plain as it was, is Creatures of the Night album. When you proposed this to me, it was the first thought that came to mind. It was just something that about that black label had like that metal look to it. It kind of went with the whole sounds on the album. There was something about that label that I just always loved, and it's plain. If I was going to choose that, I'd probably choose the blue Casablanca that you mentioned before. I like the ones that you were talking about. I like Love Gun. The solo albums had the faces on it. I like Dynasty and Unmasked. But there was something just about that black Creatures of the Night label that when you said we should do this one, I said that's going to be mine, right? Because it was the first one that came to mind.
Well, that wouldn't make my top 5, but I'll respectfully acknowledge your choice.
Fair enough. And I bet you probably wouldn't make many people's top 5, but for whatever reason, I've just always been drawn to that for whatever reason. So we've been talking about opening song, closing song, side A song, first 2 songs, blah, blah, blah. And we've kind of already touched on this a few times, but for those watching, maybe haven't watched some of our back episodes, what's your favorite studio album?
First Kiss album.
Damn, still haven't changed.
First Kiss album.
Still haven't changed.
First Kiss album.
You should have at least paused for dramatic effect.
You know what? This is what you do. When you play this back, just have me go.
No, no,
Yes.
no, no,
To
no. What
slow it
I'm going
down.
to do is I'm going to take a part from somewhere else we were talking about. I'm going to say, what's your favorite studio album? And I'm going to put in Hotter Than Hell.
Yeah. Ah, I gotta go with Hot in Hell. Yeah, like when I go like that. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh, man. You
That's
know,
evil. That's evil.
of course, I'm an evil type of guy.
Yeah.
It's still for me a flip flop between Rock and Roll Over and Hotter Than Hell. And last year when we spoke about our favorite Kiss albums, I said Hot and Hell was my number one. And today I'm like, nah, maybe it's Rock and Roll Over. Um, Damn, I can't decide between those two. They're 1-1. They're not even 1-1A. They're 1-1 for me in my mind.
So just change it this year.
Yeah, that's exactly where that's where I'm
Last year
headed
you
with
chose,
this.
Hotter Than Hell. This year, make it, Rock and Roll Over.
And that's exactly where I'm headed with this. Is that I think I'm going to choose Rock and Roll Over, so that this way I can say I chose both of them.
All right, there you go. That's fair.
Yeah. So then your least favorite album.
Hot in the Shade.
I thought you were going to say Monster just to get under my skin.
No,
I know you said you were going to exclude it, but I think you just try to get under my skin.
Hot in the Shade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You really hate Hot in the Shade.
I didn't, just again, I told you that second side. I just look at that list of songs. I love the song Forever, but other than that, I would never put that album on. Just never.
Interesting.
Never.
There's another one that for me is a toss up. And I think I'm going to go with my second choice, but I'm going to say the two of them. On my list is Asylum, which it's that album is so tough for me because I love Who Wants to Be Lovely.
Who Wants to Be Lovely?
Oh, Who Wants to Be Lonely?
Wow, is that a
that's the new 2021 version. Who Wants to Be Lovely? Who Wants to Be Lonely? And Tears Are Falling. I think are two of the best songs from Kiss in the 80s. The rest of the album just doesn't move me much at all. So I had that.
This is how I always weigh it.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna rebut right now.
Go ahead.
If you got Tears Are Falling, Who Wants to Be Lonely, and King of the like I almost said King of the My Time War, King of the Mountain. To me, on I know what you're gonna say, Cadillac Dreams or Silver Spoon, BBB or whatever, to beat those three songs. And I just don't know what songs. And it's a little unfair because there's more songs on
yes.
What was there, 16 songs or something like that? It
was 15. 15. That's what I remember the hype sticker. 15 new tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I wrote, should have been 9. No.
Yeah, right.
That to me is what Hot in the Shade suffers from, is that there's too many songs. But look, I agree with you. There's nothing better on Hot in the Shade than Who Wants to Be Lovely. Who Wants to Be Lonely.
Who Wants to Be Lovely.
Who Wants to Be Lonely or Tears Are Falling. There's nothing better on Hot in the Shade. But Forever is great. And it might be, it's the third best of between the two albums. But I think that the second level songs on Hot in the Shade, the Silver Spoons, King of Hearts, The Street Give It, are better than any of the second level songs on Asylum.
With Hot in the Shade, it's like almost like I can't find the word. There's nothing offensive about Hot in the Shade. It just kind of just sits there and like it's got like I don't know. It's just so I could see the point there. It's not the obvious like Love's a Deadly Weapon or something like right. Which we've or Boomerang as you would say. Right. It's nothing like, oh my God, you just listen to it and it's just all right. What you would say, they're just like boring songs to me.
Yes.
They're just very boring and very just vanilla. That's the best way I could say that album is. It just really doesn't move me. It's just like, and then the production and everything else, I do. What I do like about that record was the time period of my life and listening to that record, which I always harken back to that. When we were hanging and listening to all those bands at that time. We were always wanted the Kiss record to be the best. Right. When Bon Jovi would put out a record or Def Leppard, we always rooted for that band. Like we're always like, please don't put out a fucking shit burger, please. You know what I mean? we don't want to lose our band Kiss, because they just can't put out any. And we would root for them with everything we had, But
agreed.
To me, like, and a lot of people probably debate this. Like, Crazy Nights is like, the White Album compared to Hot in the Shade. I mean, I still happen to like Crazy Nights a lot. That record.
And we did an episode last year on Crazy Nights, and And since we did that, I could say I probably even have embraced Crazy Nights more than I did when we discussed that.
Yeah.
It's almost like Asylum. Like I've really embraced Asylum in the whole period and the look and all of that. And I love the tour every night. They were mixing up their set list, right?
And
Go ahead.
no, I'm just thinking, and that's a cool. I mean, I love that album cover. Talk about album covers.
Yes.
That's an awesome album.
That's
cover.
I'm glad you brought that up because absolutely right. That is an absolutely great album cover.
Yeah.
For all the talk about the great album covers Kiss had in the 70s, and they did, there was a few great ones in the 80s. I called out Lick It Up before, which I think was the perfect one, but I think you're spot on also. I think Crazy Nights is a great album cover.
Yeah, I mean,
love that.
Creatures of Nights, Crazy Nights. There's a night theme here.
That's it.
Lick It Up at Night.
Lick It Up at night.
But
those shade at night.
Yeah. Asylum at Night.
That's right.
But
but we still haven't even got to my choice of my least favorite studio album, though, right? Because I said I went back and forth between two, but I said my first choice would not be what my choice is, and this might surprise you. I don't know. Maybe it won't, but What you seem like you want to say something like
no, because I mean I don't think it's going to be it, but I would have thought it's going to be Carnival of Souls, but maybe not.
No, it's not. Carnival of Souls would be third probably on my list. My least favorite Kiss album is Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
I love Modern Day Delilah. I love Say Yeah, and everything in between is just cookie cutter. It actually is an album that I disliked enough that when Monster was announced, I said, I'm not going to buy that. Even though I fully support the new lineup, I've seen them dozens of times. But I dislike Sonic Boom so much that I said, a new Kiss album to me is just not something I'm interested in. You and I weren't thrilled with the Live to Win album, which again, it's another one that I've warmed up a little bit to over the years. But I just, at the time, I was like, I don't have a need for more new Kiss music. So when Monster was announced, I was like, and I only bought it to complete the collection. So for me, Sonic Boom is an album I have little desire to ever put on. The songs do nothing for me. Again, support the new lineup, but that album does nothing for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
I don't think that's a bad choice either. I could flip back and forth on that one.
Right. Well, you said you were purposely leaving out Sonic Boom.
I kind of was. Yeah.
Right.
But
I figured you wouldn't object to my choice. Yeah.
No.
If you would have came on and said, "What are you talking about? Sonic Boom's great." Who's this guy?
I mean,
get Vincent back.
Monday Delilah, Never Enough, and Say Yeah. I think those are three pretty strong songs. I don't. Again, I would have to look at, I guess, the whole body work with Hot in the Shade to see if there's three songs I like better than those three. I mean, that's how I usually weigh things out.
Right. And that's what I did between Sonic Boom and Asylum. And I came back to saying Who Wants to Be Lonely and Tears Are Falling are better than Modern Day Delilah and Say Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, I had to choose Sonic Boom.
I get your point with the Asylum thing, but I think you made the right choice there.
Yeah. So let's.
And also, like, again, when they did Trial by Fire live, I thought it sounded great when Bruce, you know what I mean?
Agreed. I think the albums lack, for me, the production that I wish that they had. They just sound very dated. I think if Bruce's band decided to re-record those songs, I think I'd be like, this is good. In fact, there was somebody, I had no clue who this was. I wish I'd give this person credit, but I didn't plan on bringing this up. Somebody re-recorded a cover of Secretly Cruel and did it in like a 70s style, sound to it that had cowbell through it. And I'm like, this is cool. This sounds like this could be on Rock and Roll Over. This is cool. So I think that's what I don't like about it. I don't think the songs are horrible. I think just the productions on some of those 80s albums. And I know people can say, Mike, you're nuts. Crazy Nights is so dated. It sounds like Bon Jovi sounds, but it's not pretending to be something different. Like Crazy Nights was trying to be that. Asylum just, the sound just hasn't aged well for me. But I'm sticking with Sonic Boom as my least favorite album.
I don't agree with you with the sound thing of that album. I think that album sounds fine.
Really? Yeah, no, it's something that just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me. Now, mind you, 2 weeks ago, I was like, I haven't watched any old Kiss concerts from the 80s in a while. What was the first thing I put on? On YouTube, Kiss, Madison Square Garden, 1985 Asylum Tour. I'm like, I want to watch that. And I had so much fun watching it, right? And I, on the cruise this year, was so excited when Kissed It All Night, even though I don't think it's a great song. It's just, I guess it's all relative. Something has to be the worst, right? There's still
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah,
killer
definitely.
songs on Asylum and Sonic
Yeah.
Boom as well. There's some killer songs on. I have no problem with Kiss doing "Say Yeah" on the End of the
Mm.
Road tour. I get they want to represent every era. To me, "Say Yeah" is the perfect song. If you don't know it, people can sing along in the crowd. I happen to think it's a catchy song. I happen to think it's a good song. I have no problem with that being in the set list. But again, something has to be my least favorite Kiss album.
The only reason why I have a problem with that being in the set list is because I can name 20 other songs that I'd rather be in the set list, if
I
you know what I
understand that
mean. I
totally.
understand your point, but that's the only reason why I would, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
So,
look, I'd rather hear "I Stole Your Love" and "Strutter" more than half the songs in the set list, let alone
right,
just "Say
right,
Yeah."
yeah.
But if they want to represent every era, and I get that they want to, that to
Mm-hmm.
me is the perfect song to represent
Yeah,
the current lineup. And I have
I
no
agree.
problem with them looking to represent every era.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then. All right. Most overrated Kiss album. What do you think?
And this is just based on what I feel has been like out in the universe, but
Well,
I
I
think the
know it's not
most,
going to be Hot in the Shade.
no. No, definitely not. I feel like Revenge is the most overrated Kiss album. It's just because, and there's some good stuff on there, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but people made that out to be like the next Destroyer,
Right.
and I just don't think it is. I mean, I remember at the time listening to it, and I thought it was a great record, and there's a lot of good stuff on that record, but it's just the way, nobody ever put Unmasked up on a pedestal. Nobody ever
Right.
put, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking of it from that perspective. When I say it's overrated, I'm going by what I feel other people have said about this record.
Yep.
Not so much my opinion of the songs of the record, if that makes any sense.
No, totally. Totally. You think that it's held, and that's what overrated to me, to be overrated, it has to start off that a lot of people like it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if it's an album, like you said, Unmasked, people don't hold it up on the pedestal, well, then it can't be overrated.
Right.
So we're not saying which album sucks or whatever. You're
Yeah.
saying which album's held on a pedestal that maybe shouldn't be, and you're saying Revenge.
Yeah, and listen, Revenge has got one of the greatest Kiss openers with Unholy. It's one of my
Yep.
favorite Kiss songs of all time. So let me be very, very clear again.
Yes.
There's some really good stuff on there. I think there's one song on there that that maybe a lot of people don't mention. That's like, well, which one is it? Oh, you're right. I love that song.
Yeah, that's it.
Heart
That's
of
one of my
Chrome?
favorites.
Is it Heart of Chrome?
Heart of Chrome starts off side two,
Yeah.
which I happen to love that song. I think it's a great song.
Yeah, I think that's the one. I think it's like that's an underrated song.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
see what I'm
agree.
saying?
I
So,
agree.
um, yeah, but I just look at the whole list. I mean, there's some cool stuff on there. And God Gave Rock and Roll to You is one of my favorite Kiss recording. I mean, no, they kind of rewrote the lyrics. I think that song
Yep.
is incredible. They did. Like, if you're going to do a cover, man, Kiss fucking killed that one.
Agreed.
That's one of my
Agreed.
favorite things that Kiss ever put to vinyl,
Yep.
quite
No,
honestly.
I agree.
So, again, I got, very mixed feelings about it. Like I say, not mixed. I still think it's overrated, but there's a lot of stuff on this record I like a lot. I'll just say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And so I had the exact same selection as you did, Revenge.
Yeah.
For a lot of the same reasons you just said. There's a lot of Kiss fans that I feel like want to say that this is the top three Kiss album.
Mm-hmm.
At least sometimes when you see comments or whatever, that's just the perception people try to give. And you just hit the nail on the head. There's a bunch of great songs on this album. Unholy, I Just Wanna, I think it's great. I know people have a problem with it. Some people do. I think it's a great song, a fun song. I'm glad you brought up Heart of Chrome. I think that's a great song as well. Take It Off is a great song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I happen to love Spit. I know other
Mm-hmm.
fans don't love it. I think that's great. I love that song, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of songs, but I think some of the Gene songs are average, right? Whether it's Paralyzed, Thou Shall Not, they're okay. And I've never been a huge fan of Domino. I think that the fact they released that as a single, when to me, in my opinion, there's at least 5 other songs on that album that are better. It just, again, I think I was looking at a list I put together about 2 years ago of my favorite Kiss albums from 1 to whatever it is, 2025, whatever it is. And I think Revenge was number 10. So don't get me wrong. I love the album, but we're talking about what we think gets more credit than maybe it should. And I feel like a lot of times in the fandom, the way people talk about it, you would think it's Kiss's number 1, 2, or 3 best album of all time. And it's not quite there to me. It's number 10, 11 in that range. There's some duds. Paralyzed, Thou Shalt Not to me are duds. Domino, So I think that's a little bit overrated in my opinion. So we agreed there.
Yeah.
So underrated album. What album do you think
I just changed my choice while thinking about that.
Really? Well, for
I
what,
told
underrated album?
this disclaimer. I didn't listen to the last 30 seconds of what you said, and while I was
Thanks.
thinking of my choice, because my
Thanks.
ADD brain. No, I was listening. No,
I
yeah,
know
I just
you.
changed it. I just changed it.
All right,
I'll
what
tell
did
you
you
what
change
it
it to?
was. I'll tell you
Oh
what it
wait, so is this
was.
for underrated album you're
Yeah,
changing?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
so
yeah,
you're
yeah,
sticking with Revenge is the
yeah,
overrated.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I was like, if you just did that whole spiel, you're changing
No,
your
no, no,
choice.
no, 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 no,
All
no, no, no,
right,
no, no. I'm sorry if I was
most
unclear there.
most underrated album.
Oh, you want to know what I had originally, or you want to know what
Yeah,
I
no,
chose?
give me both. Give me now. I'm curious.
Um, what I had originally was your favorite, Carnival of Souls, just because that record is just obviously. I don't know. Maybe a lot of fans do like it, like I do. You know what I mean? I like the
I
record a
think it's a
lot. I think
divisive album.
definitely. But when I really thought about it, I chose Dynasty, and the reason why I chose Dynasty was because everybody. It's a disco record. It's not a disco
No,
record.
it's not.
Not even at all. You have one song on there that's disco, and then the rest of the record is pretty fucking good. Let's face facts.
Agreed. Yep.
And I think like it's so underrated when I looked at the list of songs. And I love the kind of flavoring. I love the way you got, even though it's a cover, but 2000 Man, it doesn't sound like a Kiss song, and they kind of made it their own. And Sure Know Something is one of my favorite Kiss songs. And even Dirty Living, I just love. I mean, that's got like a kind of a danceable kind of thing, and the freaking
Right.
bass in that song is fucking. I love that song. I just
Yep.
love it, and just a lot of things about it is cool. Like Charisma's got a cool vibe to it. Magic Touch is, I know that's one of your favorites.
Yeah.
Hard Times is a great song. Save Your Love. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really just like it's so underrated. This record, I just couldn't believe it when I was just looking. I was like, wait a second. So.
It's funny that you say that and that it's not a disco album because I fully agree with you. And I think that's a great choice. It's not mine, but I could be persuaded that that could be the most underrated Kiss album for all the reasons you just said. And I've said this before to other people. If you take the 5 best songs from Love Gun and the 5 best songs from Dynasty and you put them together, I don't think those 5 songs from Dynasty stand out as not belonging to that era, right? So you just mentioned some of them, whether it's Hard Times, Save Your Love. You could
Magic
put those
Touch.
Magic Touch. You could put those on the same album as Christine 16, Tomorrow and Tonight, and they fit. They fit. They all sound like the same band in that
You
same
know,
time period. I don't see, like you said, Dynasty is not a disco album. I see that as an extension of where Kiss sounded and where Kiss was on the Love Gun album. Except for obviously I was
you know what? You know what I'll say? I'll say that Unmasked is definitely more pop than
Yes.
Dynasty, right? We'll agree on that.
Yep.
But what I will say, look at both Dynasty and Unmasked. Whether it's Vinnie Ponce or not, almost every one of those songs at least has a catchy chorus.
Agreed.
Even on Unmasked, I look at like even the songs like Naked City. I mean, I always kind of like that tune. It's not a bad song.
Right.
Talk to Me, Shandy, Is That You, Tomorrow, Two Sides of the Coin, or The King, you know what I mean? Easy as It Seems, even though it's got the first synthesizer solo, Torpedo Girl. These are cool tunes to me. I think Vinny had a good year, a good pop. I mean, for pop sensibility, and because we all know that if you ever listen to the recordings out there when they were writing or recording, you could hear Vinny doing the background, Vinny Ponce, not Vinny Vincent, so people clear. But I think that those two records really, and I know a lot of people hate Unmasked, but I'm just talking about catchiness to the tunes and they have good choruses, and I think I've never had a problem with these two records ever. I never wavered with this. I was still young enough when Dynasty came out. I was 9 years old to 10 years old, so I didn't feel uncomfortable as a 16. Oh my God, the comic book record cover, like,
Right.
and
Yep.
Zeppelin's last record looked like this,
Right.
whatever. I mean,
Yep.
we didn't have to go through that. We were still young enough, and I know other Kiss friends, friends. Let me try that. Friends of mine who are Kiss fans were kind of like embarrassed going to sort of buy Kiss Unmasked and bring it up because they were 17 years old and they looked like they were buying a comic strip. They were like, all right, what's Kiss done? They went from these dark, you watch the San Francisco concert at, what's the infamous place? In '75. Come on,
San
help me.
Francisco.
Yeah, they did
Oh, Winterland.
the Winterland. Thank you.
Sorry.
I was like, man, I was like, yeah.
No, I
You
didn't realize you were talking about Kiss. I'm like, Cow Palace.
No, yeah. No, I mean just that dark,
Right.
like
Right.
I mean, to that, yeah, there was, but yeah. Why did we start talking about this? No, because we were talking about Dynasty.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, since I'm not excluding them, I'm going to say my most underrated album is Monster. I
Yeah.
love that album. I
Hmm.
think it doesn't get a fair shake because of the production, and I get that. I get that. But
Hmm.
people certainly overlook the production on Hotter Than Hell, and they love that album. I personally feel the songs are there. And think
Because the
about what I
songs are
said.
better.
Look, I agree. The songs are better.
Those songs are better.
There's no dispute. The songs are better on Hot. I just said Hot in Hell is one of my all-time favorite Kiss albums and one of my all-time
Oh, at
favorite
one
albums.
point it was your favorite. Traitor.
Yes, Trader, Trader. That's right. Benedict Arnold.
Benedict Arnold.
That's right. But yeah, to me the songs are there on Monster. It's a great. I love Wall. I think Gene has some great songs on that album. Wall of Sounds, Back to the Stone Age. I think Paul delivered some great songs as well. So for me, I think it gets a bad rap because of production and because of the fact that some people just will not accept the new lineup. And I know that's not you, right? I know that's not why you don't like it. I put that album right alongside, for me, Kiss, Lick It Up, right? Not Kiss, Lick It Up, Revenge, and yes, even Creatures of the Night. Those four albums with Monster, to me, make the best that Kiss has done since the 70s, my opinion.
Okay, well, we've debated this before,
Yes,
haven't we?
yes, we have.
Yeah.
We have. So that's why, to me, that's
I
going
haven't
to be
changed my mind.
Nope, and I'm not going to look to change your mind, but I stand by it. My most underrated album, Monster.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw one. So that's supposed to be the end of our list, and we're supposed to wrap up now. But I'm going to throw one at you that I was thinking about as we were just chatting that we didn't discuss at all, but you were talking and you made me think of this. What's your favorite outfits that they wore in the 70s, obviously? Unless you want to go with Asylum. I'll let you go with Asylum.
Yeah. I thought we touched upon this.
We might have on one of our other episodes, but it feels like it belongs here also.
What tour?
Yeah. Or album cycle, whatever way you want to say it.
This is a good one. It's definitely got to be in that 75 to 77 ish category for me. I'm just trying to figure out which one.
Mm-hmm. Right. So then you're narrowing it down to either Dress to Kill, Alive.
Which is the one where Ace had the like rings around here? That's
Alive.
Alive.
Dress to Kill. Right.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Right. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with that.
I can live with that. That's a solid choice for me. I'll always go with the Love Gun era. Those costumes to me are just so iconic. Everything about that era, the look of the band, I just absolutely love. So I'll go with Love Gun. You can't go wrong with any of those, though.
I could flip flop between those two. I agree with you.
It's a solid choice. When they reunited,
I'm thinking of all the posters too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gene, for all those posters, the iconic four posters. The one where he's up, where he's got his arms, with the whatever the metal little square things that they made up on his shoulder or whatever the heck the thing, and Peter Criss with the thing across. Yeah, probably I would have to go with that one. Now I'm thinking about it.
Oh, so that's two I made you change too.
Well, you just threw this one at me. I didn't really have time to marinate it.
Yeah, no, there was no marination on this one.
Yeah.
Do you have now I'm just literally off the top of my head. Do you have a favorite makeup design?
Makeup design?
Yeah, between I'll say the 6 makeup designs, the 4 original and Eric. And
okay. That's a good one too. I can tell you what my least favorite is.
I'm gonna guess I know what
that is.
Right.
It's the Paul Stanley one.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. I know the Peter Criss one is so cool, but Gene and Ace, those three is just like definitely not the Vinnie Vincent one. Mm-hmm. Eric Carr was cool, but it's not. I got to go with the first 4. You know what I mean? I probably would either go with Ace or just pick a amount of color, like Ace or Peter. I think Peter's probably the most interesting.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably of the original 4, Peter might be my least favorite.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying about Paul, but I'll go with Gene. That is such
as an overall character and just the whole outfit and the face.
I'm just talking the makeup.
No, I'm just saying if I had it, then it would be Gene.
Right.
But I'm just talking about just face alone. I just like the different color. Peter had the little silver tip on the nose, the black and the green, and the eyes, and then the whiskers. It just was like there was. I mean, it's a cat, So they really like, I just think it just, And again, I'm gonna probably be a little bit biased. I was Peter Criss for Halloween. It was the only Kiss. It was the only Kiss doll I ever owned. It was the only solo album I ever owned. I'm taking donations. Anybody want to give away their Kiss dolls?
No,
Kiss records? No.
you definitely had a connection with Peter as a drummer growing
Uh-huh.
up, so I get why you would choose that. And you might not notice off the top of your head because you don't pay attention to the nitty gritty details sometimes the way I do. But Peter started with a much like not dirtier, but a nastier look in his makeup in like 73, 74. The whiskers is like going down
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to going across.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a preference for, since you said Peter Criss is your favorite makeup design, do you have a preference of what kind of design for Peter you like better?
Well, even all of them, they kind of, even I think Ace, they started putting like blue blush
Yep.
on his eyes, and they kind of, as they got towards Dynasty, they, um, but yeah, I think just the one that we come to know and love, the iconic Peter, like that '78 era, you know what I mean,
Yep.
before Dynasty. I think
Right.
that for all of them is like my favorite. And
Yeah.
then we know with Dynasty, the costumes got really like out of control with the gaudy looking and the colors and you know
So
I
here,
understood.
Dynasty costumes or Asylum costumes?
Oof, Dynasty.
I'd probably go
Because
Dynasty, but I've grown to love the Asylum look for some reason. I really have.
when did this happen?
Probably in the last year or two, where as I've gotten older and I've learned to maybe appreciate more, like you said before, growing up as a kid, being all excited. We grew up in the 80s, right? And
Mm-hmm.
getting that Asylum album, we getting the Analyze album, getting Crazy Nights. And there's just something about the Asylum era that sticks out from all the other 80s stuff that Kiss did, right? For obvious reasons. And there's just something about it that I've just come to embrace and be like, it was cheesy as all hell and Gene looked ridiculous. But the other three actually, and I was watching the Who Wants to Be Lonely video. I'm like, this is kind of cool. I like this.
There's a certain amount of nostalgia to it, but I just can't get past the faces. It just looks a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It didn't fit Bruce well.
Right.
It fit Paul well because you could
It did.
but Gene, no. Bruce, no, I don't think so. Eric,
I felt it fit Eric,
Eh.
but
There's some pictures where they just look so white and pale, like they were just putting I don't know what the hell they were doing, but
yeah.
I just look at that. Not so much the outfit; it's just the whole thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Well, I've already thrown a few bonus questions at you.
I was gonna say, yeah, more.
Yeah, I actually thought of one more. Favorite stage?
That's got to be the Love Gun one. I
Yeah,
don't know, just
agreed.
something about that with the steps.
Agreed.
I mean, it's just not the biggest, but that's just the best.
Yeah, I agree. And
And you open up Alive too, and you look at that fucking come on.
nothing, right? There's no reason to even discuss greatest gatefold because nothing will ever
I don't
top
care how
Alive
many
to
fucking
bands.
pods come down from the ceilings.
Exactly.
I don't care how many video HD screens. Give me if you could give me that original stage with the original outfits, I would pay to see that.
And it's funny you say that because on Kiss Cruise 5, they did Alive from front to back, and they did the Alive costumes, which you just said was your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And they set the stage up like it was in 75. And they tried to recreate the instruments the same. And as you know, you've been on the cruise, the theater is small, only holds 900 people.
Yeah.
And at first when I heard they were doing Alive, I'm like, but I know I've seen all those songs live. But when the curtain opened and the stage was set up like that and those costumes, and you kind of got a feeling like, this is what it was like in 75 when they were playing still some places, small theaters like that. I'm like, this is pretty freaking cool. So.
And I'll say this, talk about a letdown. You go from like Love Gun and Dynasty where they went all gaudy with the outfits. And I don't know, I think that stage was boring as all hell. It was basically like, ramps or something. It was like, it was like nothing. Like you go from this cool steps and it's got this iconic and that just looked flat and boring and ugh.
Yeah, no,
that being said, I would have loved to have been one of those shows. You were.
I was,
yeah.
And the thought process there was they were originally going to sell tickets behind the stage, and they wanted something that was all open that you could see all around.
That makes a little sense.
Right.
Then
that makes sense, but it just never planned out that way because they didn't sell that much tickets. But last one then for you. And look, I think we both agree that probably on stage the light up Kiss logo, because you said you get rid of the LED screens and all that. That classic logo that they used in 77, 78, 79, 80, that logo or the one they used in the early days, 74, 75, that had like all the light bulbs inside each of the letters? Which one?
you know which one I loved? I love the Asylum Tour logo.
So that's what I was gonna sneak that one in
Yeah,
there on you. So
yeah,
you brought it
yeah.
up.
No, that is awesome. I saw a picture of that the other day. I said this may have been the best background. Like, I was never a huge fan of the whole Sphinx with the laser. I mean, it was cool at the time, but it always looked weird to me. Even that cover now, I was looking at it before. I'm like, geez, that looks like a weird cover. It looks better that he's got the sunglasses on. The one in the concert, they could have threw a pair of shades on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that color with the Asylum colors and the way they made that logo, tremendous. I mean, it's my first Kiss concert, so I remember it well. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah. No, I don't want to say that that's my favorite. The 77, 78 classic
Oh yeah,
logo.
yeah, of course.
But that Asylum logo, I agree. And that was part of the draw of me going back and watching one of those shows is that whole stage, that whole look, and that logo. That logo was real. And if I remember right, when they did Won't Get Fooled Again, the inside of the logo was like the American flag. And so like there's a lot of like cool things they were able to do with that. And it was huge.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that at the Garden. This thing, I don't know, it seemed like it was 100 feet tall. It wasn't, but it seemed huge. So so all right. There's a few bonus questions I threw at us, but I was kind of curious. As you were talking, these are the things that are going through my mind. You mentioned some of these things like, oh, we should have put this one on the list. I was like, yeah, I'm throwing them at you.
Yeah.
I will be curious to see what other people have to say. We covered a lot of topics from opening song, closing song, side two, album covers. We ended up throwing on costumes, logos. I mean, there's so many. Which list was better? The champion, me?
Why are you a champion?
Because I'm
Champion
a
of what?
Self-proclaimed champion.
Glad you said it.
No, I'm curious to see what people think. I'm obviously busting chops. My list, Vinny's list, put together your own list. What do you think? I'm really curious to hear what people have to say. Was there something that I chose that you think I'm off my rocker? Probably people say Monster. I know that. Is there something Vin chose that you think he was off his rocker? Where do you agree with us, disagree with us? Put your, in the comments, put your choices. I'm really curious to see what people choose. Best songs, Paul on an album, Gene on an album. I'm really curious to see what people have to say. But we covered a lot, and
this was freaking a lot of fun.
This was. We'll have to. The year is coming to a close, but we will have to continue in the new year doing these, and maybe we'll sneak one more in before the year is over as well.
I'm game.
I'm sure you are. So on that note, thank you, my friend.
Thank you for having me again.
Always a lot of fun. You enjoy your bass lesson this evening. Is it a bass lesson?
Thank
a
you.
Singing lesson?
No, bass lesson.
Okay. So enjoy your bass lesson. And
thank you.
I'm going to go get myself some nutrients. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Until next time, Ringo.
Single Ringo.
Double Ringo, single Ringo. It's up to you. Whatever
alternate Ringo. Rabbit ears Ringo.
We out. Later.
All right, later.
Alrighty, there you have it. I'd like to thank Vincent for joining me and having a great conversation about our most and least favorite songs from Kiss. Opening albums, closing albums, opening side two, our favorite outfits, our favorite logos, our favorite stages. I mean, we really covered the gamut here. It was a lot of fun, but boy, some of those least favorites were hard to choose. Even songs like Rise to It and King of the Mountain, I really liked those. So those are really hard to choose as a least favorite song to open an album. But I guess something always has to be at the bottom, right? I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we look forward to seeing and hearing your lists. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You should also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you all next time.